corporate Malaysia. My name is Wafi from Team GRADUAN, and today we have a pair of HR icons and rock stars in their own right. Farid Basse, who is the Chief People Officer at MBSB Bank, and Shazmi Ali, Vice President of HR at Shell Malaysia. Today, the topic that we're going to be talking about is something that has been discussed, since I began working, and I'm sure since before that as well. Work-life balance or work-life integration, whatever you'd like to call it. Having a balance between what you do, professionally and what you do in your free time. Before we dive into that topic, I'll give the floor to our speakers today. And maybe Nabil, you can talk a bit about what we're going to be doing today as well.
Hi, thanks, Wafi. Today's topic, the last topic we had with Nadia Tan, Puan Ilya, Natasha, and all. I found it's a very girlish topic,
Yeah.
Woman empowerment. But today we have all the boys coming in together. And today's topic is about work-life integration, work-life balance, like you said, whatever we call it. Mm-hmm. So we are very happy to have here Mr. Farid Basse from MBSB and Mr. Shazmi, the rock star, he's the rock star actually, of Shell, to share with us how they manage their time being successful HR leaders in their own right, and how they manage the family life and even their work life and their own personal life. So maybe I'll just hand over to Farid first to introduce himself.
Hi. Thanks, Nabil. It's pretty weird to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Just
a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. My name is Farid Basir. I'm the Chief People Officer of MBSB Bank. I'm a father of two, Aina and Aisha. Yeah. So that's me. That's the most important thing. Anyway, over to you, Nabil. Yeah.
Shazmi, anything you might want to add about yourself?
No, I think you mentioned I work in Shell. My name is Shazmi Ali. I think most importantly is married for almost 12 years and blessed with 3 kids. I've got a pair of twins, a boy and a girl, Salahuddin and Maya. They are 7 this year. And I have a 2-year-old monster who rules the house, and her name is Suhaila. And since the pandemic has started, we have been working from home. So Shell has been working from home for the last 18 months. And so my daughter, ever since she was 8 months, she only knows that daddy stays at home the whole time. So she is attached to my hips and refuses to let me go. So I won't be surprised if she appears later in the call.
We're happy to see her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be tough when you head back to the office later on. Right. Obviously today's topic, work-life integration, work-life balance. Farid has a different definition or a different term that he calls it, life-work integration. Farid, could you tell us a bit more about what that means and why you choose to call it that way instead of the traditional terms?
Thanks, Rafi. Actually, it's similar. Yet I prefer to choose life for work. So for me, it's all about life. And of course, some people call it harmony, integration, or even flexibility now. But at the end of the day, it's all about what's your priority in life. So when I talk about life-work balance, it is important for us. What are the priorities in your life? So for me, I always have my 6F. So you imagine if you want to put sand and rocks, pebbles into a jar. Yeah, you know technology, right?
Yeah.
So you need to know what are your rocks. So I have 6 rocks. I call it the 6F. What are the 6F? The first F is fit. So what is my, what I need to do about my fit? And then the fitness, followed by financial freedom, family, friends, and fraternity. So these are my 6F.
Oh, I don't think I heard of it.
Yeah, because these are the 6 rocks. So whatever that I do is all about the 6. So you will notice that I'm not talking about jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Job is actually not a priority. It is a mean, yeah, for you. Because while you're doing your job, in this case, when I talk the 6F, it is fraternity. Fraternity is the community, the society. So in this case, we talk about employees as your fraternity, and how we able, my personal motto is how we able to unleash potential one at a time, one conversation at a time. So I like to have conversations just to understand what are the expectation as well as the concerns of the employees. Yeah, so that's my 6F.
Right. All right. I see. That's cool. That's a different way to look at it. Faith, family, fitness, friends, fraternity, and what's the sixth one?
Financial freedom.
Financial freedom. Of course, that's really important.
It is.
Sorry, you forgot another F, fun, in the end there. You had a 7F, fun.
The fun is the enabling. The
Yeah.
freedom is very, very, very important. You know why? It's not about how much that you are getting from the job or from your business, but it's all about how you use that particular money. Because if you invest or if you spend more than what you're getting, I think that's something that we're going to have more conversation on this. Yeah, about financial. Yeah.
Right, of course. And just me, how would you define work-life balance? What is work-life balance to you?
So Wafi, firstly, don't need to call me Shazmi.
Okay, my bad.
Shazmi is more than fine. No, so I think you got two people on the panel today who is a
Right.
bit of a maverick when it comes to work-life balance and the term that is used very widely. So I don't believe in work-life balance. I feel it's a term that's been coined to sell some books, to sell some sort of a thought that's what it is. For me, your life is way above your work. So I cannot put or equate it together. It's a work-life balance. For me, this is life. And as I was telling you, I expected someone to appear, and she had already appeared. So for me, your life is way, way more important than your work. Thank you. Your life is way more important than your work. And work is a subset. It puts food on the table. It gives you a lot of satisfaction, but it cannot be equated to equal to your life. Your life has to be way, way more
Right.
important than work. And that's why I don't believe you should be defined by what you do. You know, whether you're a lawyer, doctor, chief people officer, HR, what it is, that should not be how people identify yourself. You should identify yourself based on your personality, what you like. And the other thing that I always tell people is when you're 60, 70 years old, and you know, if you're unlucky and you're bedridden, nobody in the office, no matter how hard you work, is going to come and take care of you. It's going to be your family.
Yeah.
And if you don't spend your time with the family now, don't expect anything to happen then.
Precisely.
Wow.
Yep, that's actually one of the questions that we do have on the list, which you've already answered. Work-life balance would a lot of people would define work-life balance as having your life revolve around work, and you obviously don't subscribe to that. What about Farid? How would you see that? Do you think work-life balance is simply having work revolve around your life?
Now, much as we like to distinguish these two life, work and life, in reality, they are inseparable. Yeah? You can't, because with COVID-19 global pandemic wreaking havoc in both our professional and personal life, setting our sight on the balancing act gets blurry and even more delicate. It's very delicate. And as I mentioned earlier, I would rather term it life-work integration or life harmony. It's life first, only then work. It revolves around the two worlds coexisting together. Yeah, and what most professionals, what we miss is that the balancing act, when we talk, because balance, when we talk work-life balance, it is a balancing act. It is not about the amount of time that we spend in one specific activity in lieu of another. For example, you have 24 hours. You say that, okay, you work at 7 or 8 hours and the rest, driving and everything. So it's not about the amount of time that we spend in one specific activity, but rather the precious benefits that we gain from each activity to spawn a fulfilling life. That's more important. Even that you are driving, right? But imagine you are driving and you listen to the songs that you like, right? You enjoy it. So that is the journey. The journey home is more fulfilling. You know, it's a choice. So that's why our life is from B to D, from birth to death.
Oh,
B,
okay.
right? So in between you have C.
Yes.
C is a choice. So in our life, the moment that you wake up, all of us have to make a choice. You have to make a choice whether you want to wake up or you don't want to wake up. You want to continue to sleep, right? Whether you want to drive or you want to. So it's all about choices. And the reality is where we are in 10 years' time, where am I now, because of the choices that I have made in the past. So we are the result of our choices. Yeah. So for me, that's why I always believe that when we talk about life work integration, it's about B to D. You have to make C choices. But at the end of the day, it's the E for me. The E is eternity. As a Muslim, I believe about life after death.
Yeah.
And whatever that we are doing now is for that, because after that you're not going to die, right? So it's eternity. So B to D, you have to make C, and the C that you make is you will harvest it, or there'll be consequence in the E.
Right.
And all of us start from A. For me, A is Allah, the creator, right? So it's simple. Framework A, B, C, D. Life is from B to D. You have to make C choices. Your focus is eternity because of A. So that's how I want to put it in a simple.
Wow, that is amazing. I never thought of it that way. But sorry.
Yeah, I guess the C is also defined by the 6 Fs that you mentioned earlier.
Correct. Yes. You're right. We got it. Now A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah.
Well, on a lighter note, I was earlier, before we went live, I was talking to Farid, asking him about his rugby days, how he started rugby, and then we found out that Farid and Chasmi are actually teammates from touch rugby. So maybe Farid, can you just tell us a little bit how you get started into rugby and how rugby has made you into the kind of leader that you are today?
Oh, I thought you want to ask me first.
I really gonna. Don't worry. After I will. The hard one I'll go to him.
Now, I learned rugby when I was 47 years old. So I'm kind of revealing my age now. So I'm more than 50. So I learned rugby at the age of 47 when I returned from South Africa. So I've been out of Malaysia for almost 8 years. Yeah, I've been working in Switzerland, the Philippines, and then South Africa. So when we were in South Africa, that's when I hooked to rugby. Every weekends during the Super Rugby, we will watch the game. Oh, amazing! Yeah. So of course I played rugby before when I was in school, but just like main petang, yeah. But I don't really learn how to play. Then when I returned back to Malaysia, one of my friend, he was the head coach of a rugby club. So I told him that I want to learn rugby. So he said that, yes, you can. You join the 8 to 12 years old category. Yes, I joined the 8 to 12 years. But what I did was I pretend that I'm helping my friend. But in the ending, I'm learning I learned how to play rugby. And the good thing of rugby, it is a very people say it's a gentleman game. Of
Yeah.
course, yeah, it's all about. I'm a Springbok supporter. I know most Malaysian, they are all black supporters. People don't like the way that Springbok play, but that's their DNA. Yeah, that's what make them the World Cup champion. But as supporters or spectators, you will not enjoy their games. But the point that I want to make is, you must understand what's the purpose of the game. Yeah, the purpose of the game is to win. Yeah, is to win. And in order for you to win, you need to know your DNA. This is what my friend told me. Tanwizi said, Farid, it's all about the DNA. You must know what's your DNA, and then you strengthen your DNA and use it to win the game. So that's why he asking, what's the DNA of Malaysian rugby, for example. So it's the same like in any organization. People always say that, especially in HR, we need to transform, we need to change the culture. In reality, you can't change the DNA. But what you can do is first to understand the DNA, yeah, because every DNA they have their strength, right? So you build on the strength, and then how you can capitalize that to meet your business objectives. You cannot just, okay, this is, I want to change this. You can't do that. Yeah. I give you a simple example. I was told, and I've read Tiger Woods. Yeah. So of course, Tiger Woods, he started very young, but what he have done, he focused on his strength rather than try to improve on his weaknesses. He focused on he perfect his strength. So just like any game, rugby, so you need to know what's your strength. Yeah, because of course, for example, like I can't play forward. Yeah, I have a smaller frame. So, but I learned how to play as a forward. So I can understand what, because it's not easy to play forward. Can you imagine when you scrum several times and then when you pass to the line and the line just drop the ball? Oh, you will not be happy with that. So it's the same like at work. Yeah, you have to you need to orchestrate the whole team towards a common goal. So that's what I learned from rugby. So I think I will let my rugby partner, my touch teammates, to share his experience.
Yeah, that's something we'd like to know as well.
Ask me, how did you get started?
Yeah, how did you get started in the sport?
So, in sport, I've been playing sports from young, but let me talk a bit about the Malaysian touch scene where Farid is my teammate. So on a random Saturday, about, I don't know, 2 years ago, I got a call from a friend, Farid bukan nama sebenar, who asked me, do you want to play touch rugby? I'm like, I never played. So I went to a regular school, and rugby is not commonly played unless you are from asrama school, right? Or you are a VI school or St. John, etc. Generally, you don't play rugby. So I've never played. The first time I held a rugby ball was actually on the pitch with Farid, and I'm like, okay. And but you get hooked on it. So I am a fan of team sports, and I've been insisting that my kids play team sports because that's when you learn teamwork, you learn camaraderie, you learn that sometimes you will understand that you will screw up in a team, and you expect your team to forgive you and help you. And at the same time, when one of your team members screw up, and it's bound to happen, you have to also bring your teammate along. It's not about one person being the superstar; it's everyone being the superstar. And I think in touch rugby, when we learned, it was amazing because it was a bit of a team of Dirty Dozen. If you remember those movies where
it is. Yeah, you are right. It's a team of Dirty Dozen. You are right.
like people didn't know each other, some of them knew, but we came together and very quickly we realized it's not about being the best team. It's about you knowing the role that you play. And if everyone plays their role, the team, becomes much better. So instead of focusing, Farid, why you dropped the ball, or Shazmi, why are you, such a slow runner, etc. It's like focus on the strength and how we can actually grow together. And I think in that team, we also learn, and the essence of teamwork is that chemistry that you need to have. And the only way you get that chemistry is by spending time with one another. I think we've seen in football as well. a team full of superstars does not necessarily win the World Cup, does not necessarily win the Champions League, right? Because again, you need that extra ingredient, and usually that is teamwork, discipline, and very focused to know what we need to do on the pitch, right? A lot of times, if the superstars try to be a superstar on the pitch and not play according to the team strength, the team is not going to win. It is a team sport. Everyone has to play. It's like the orchestra conductor, right? You can be the best violinist. You cannot just go off key, right? You cannot just play off key. You have to follow the team. It's the same thing.
Right.
But I strongly recommend you to play touch rugby. And there is the touch rugby World Cup in 2023. So please come and join the team.
We'll try. Are you guys still playing together? I mean, now it's COVID, but you're still keeping the same team?
No, the team I think is going to be split, Farid, if I may, because of the age group. Some of us are going to play in men's above 50, some of us in men above 40.
I see.
Well, I mean, it's very interesting to hear how you can relate a team sport like rugby and how you can use it in the working world. Because again, we all work in a team, right? And that's how we support each other.
Right.
And screw-ups are bound to happen, but it's how we don't blame anyone, but cover up for each other and we move forward from there. I mean, I love it lah. I mean, because this COVID time has really disrupted everybody. I mean, disrupted our personal life and our working life. I mean, both you and Farid are holding very high senior positions in the company, and a lot of decisions have to be made by you. So I'm just guessing that a lot of people will have to come to you to get things approved and all that stuff. But because of that, right, would that make you, how does that affect your working hours, you know? Because earlier, Farid was saying that when you're younger, you work hard, you work late, you come back late at night. But when at a senior position, because you might not have to sacrifice so much. How is it still the same for you, Shazmi? Do you still need to work? Does your working hours have to come home late at night and all that?
No, so I think it depends on individual preferences. So I'm pretty disciplined or rigid. I'm not sure what the right word is. My hours generally end at 6. I have a break. I spend time with the kids, take them to the park, have dinner, put them to sleep. And when they go to sleep at about 8:30, 9-ish, if I have work, then I work. If not, what has been happening lately during the pandemic is I fall asleep with them at about 9+ at 9 and 10. Then I wake up at 4 a.m. completely fresh and very energetic. So I start some work, I do some personal things. And then by 7:38, I feel like I've accomplished a lot because I started my day much earlier. And it gives you a sense of satisfaction that, and usually at about 4:35 in the morning, and I'm not recommending everyone should do that, it's individual preferences. Everything is quiet, the monsters are all asleep. It's really nice to be able to do work and get quiet time. So then when 7 something, then the whole churn of them getting ready, I go for my morning walks. But that works for me. And just like Farid, I think when you're young, in my 20s, I used to work until 9, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. And I think the weird thing is, you are so proud to tell people that I work long hours. It's like a badge of honor, a badge of pride that I'm working long hours. But in actual fact, if I look back today, and I mentioned that, Nabil, I think you'll remember as well, I regret, I won't have my 20s ever again. I should have done what a normal 20-year-old, 25-year-old should have done, right? Should have hang out with my friends more, went out on dates more, do kind of things that you should have done, because you can't be doing that when you're
we are on air, we are public, you're just revealing you go on dates.
Yeah, regrets. It's okay. I met my wife in my 30s, so it's fine. No, but my point is, you need to find a balance of living your life while at the same time building a career, picking up a hobby. Yeah, I think those are the kind of things that is easier to do then. But it's individual preferences.
But does it have like a culture that, sometimes people, they work and then when they see the boss don't leave, they will stay until, even they have nothing to do yet. they will just leave until the bosses.
So I used to work in Singapore for a period of time, and there was a time when I realized the team works very long hours, and I was a bit puzzled. And so I asked them, "What's going on?" They said, "Oh, a lot of work, blah blah blah." I said, okay, and I was new in that team, so then I told the team, that particular team, that okay, if I don't see you all going back at 7 or 6 on that day, I would think that you all are inefficient, and not that you're working hard. You're just pure inefficient. The next week, everyone went back at 6, work got completed, and everything was phenomenal. So meaning you can actually work and try to condense everything in that small number of hours instead of dragging it. It's possible. Some people either, and the longer hours you work, like it or not, your energy level drop.
Yeah.
Your concentration level.
Yeah,
drop.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, like speaking of those people that that carry the badge of honor, that I work, I don't know how many hours, I come home late at night and they work nonstop, and they are so used, especially now in the COVID era, they're so used to working and working and working. They don't take time to eat. They don't even take time to just for themselves, and that would affect them mentally and physically. Like,
Definitely.
yeah, do you have anything, it's open for both of you, any advice or how they can manage the time better? Because sometimes they're afraid the bosses might say something, they're afraid the bosses will call. Sometimes I'm on holiday with my friends, then the bosses will call and he will answer, and I say, let's say, do you have to answer? I say, I want to show him that I'm available, that kind of thing. Do you have any advice?
Actually, it depends. Sorry, maybe I just jump in a bit and then you can take on. I think it really depends on the culture of the organization. So I'm blessed to be in Shell, where your individual preferences is very much respected. If you're on leave, nobody expects you to take a phone call, right? Even when we are driving, if the CEO calls, you just continue to drive because of safety reasons, right? No one expects you to drop everything and attend to that. And I think it's the culture of the organization. And I think as leaders, you have to set that tone. I think people tend to forget leaders are being watched all the time. And if you are bad examples to the organization, if you are bad examples to the team, then don't expect that you are, but I believe in work-life balance, but you are every day finishing work at 12 o'clock. And then you're not showing a good example, right? Sometimes you will have to show the good example.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, right. You have anything to add? Any advice to them?
How would I say? One thing that I learned very early, it is important for us to schedule our plan and not just plan our schedule. More often than not, we plan our schedule, but we don't schedule it. I'm a person, I'm a calendar guy. So everything, so I'm getting nervous if it's not in my calendar. So because the reason why, we are, as human, we are creature of habits. Yeah. Of course, for example, you have bosses that will ring you up, but you will notice that they will call you at certain time because we are creature of habit. Yeah, so they will call maybe on Sunday at 3 to 5. You know that. So what you do is you just block that day. Just be ready. Yeah, because of course, for me, it's not about long hours or short hours. It's a choice. I mentioned earlier, it's a choice. Some people enjoy doing that for whatever reason. Yeah. But what important is we shouldn't impose it to our team. For example, if you enjoy working long hours, which is fine, but you shouldn't be imposing that to your team. You cannot define and confine according to your own interpretation. Which for me, that, for example, what I inform my team, I'd say that I will WhatsApp after work, but not because I want you to respond. I tend to forget. So I just, so I make it very clear to them. Don't after work, don't bother to respond. When I text you, I just, I don't want to forget. So I make it very clear. Yeah, I make it very clear. And I can share with you what's my my calendar every day. I wake up very early, 5 or earlier, and then I go to the office, and then I will take the staircase, and then I go down. I go up using the staircase again, and then I take my shower, and then I prepare for the day. Yeah, and then at 6, I will go down because I cannot run now after the surgery. But I maintained 7,000 steps per day. I used to more of the surgery. I cannot push myself too much. So that's my my day. Yeah, and then after Maghrib prayer, I will go home. Yeah. So I tell you why calendar is very important to me. Why scheduling is very important. Well, I'm not ashamed to share. I know I have ADHD, and when I was younger, my late father realized that I'm a bit different compared to others. My span of attention is very short. I don't mix up with other children. I would rather to confine myself in the school library. That was me. So what he did was he asked me, Farid, can you prepare your schedule for every day? Until now, I remember my schedule. Yeah. So what I need to do, and do what I need to do. That I'm talking about when I was 11 years old. That's what my father did. Have taught me to. Yeah. So I must have because when I have schedule, you must bear in mind ADHD is your attention is very very low, and then you have to manage your hyperactive. So you need to focus. Yeah. So
Right.
the calendar really helps. So I must say that all of us need to schedule our plan. Don't just plan our schedule. So that
Right.
makes it a lot more easier. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
getting into that habit, into that routine, how long did it take for that to develop, you know?
Oh, okay. Now I think the first 10 day will be difficult. I'll give example. After the operation, I have to change my routines, right? Because I cannot really. But then for me to go back to that particular routine, it will take some time. But it's important for you just to push yourself, stick to your calendar. The good thing about that, people know your pattern, people know your routines. So I even told my team, if you have difficult to get, to have a discussion with me, walk with me.
Okay.
I see. I
or,
see.
or join me at the pitch during
Right.
training. Yeah, that's the best time, 2-3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
think I've said the same thing a number of times to my team members as well. Tell me I need your 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go down and get coffee. Walk with me, and while I get my coffee, I'll buy you coffee as well. But let's just have that discussion because sometimes we realize that if I miss one slot of that time, then everything else, gets delayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that sometimes we have to make sure the calendaring works well.
Yeah. True.
Well, so this COVID really has affected a little bit of our work-life routine.
Definitely.
But seeing from, I don't even need to ask this question that has COVID affected your work-life balance, but I see that both of you guys know how to manage
Yeah.
time.
Actually, COVID has affected it in a more positive manner for me. So now I get to spend more time with the kids.
Yes.
I don't need to get stuck 1 hour to go to traffic in the morning, 1 hour to come back. That 1 hour, the extra 2 hours, I get to spend time with the kids.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, there are a lot of bad things about COVID, definitely. But on the flip side, I've managed to spend more time with the kids.
That's really good.
That's and those are things that I will never get. As they grow older, then the daddy is not cool enough anymore for them to hang out with. So this is the best chance, lah.
Yes.
But well, is there anything that you want to look forward once this whole pandemic is over? Once the lockdown is coming to open up now, but is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. The first thing that I will do is to see my mother.
Oh,
That's the first thing. Yeah. I think I have not been seeing my mother for quite some time. So that's the first thing that I will do.
wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you, Trust Me?
So I'm lucky enough that my parents and in-laws live like 5 minutes drive away. So we've been seeing a lot of them, so that's not an issue. honestly, I miss my team. I honestly miss my team,
Team?
my team members.
Oh,
Yeah, so I've not seen a number of them for 18, 19 months. And there have been people who are part of my team in that period of time. So I've not even had a chance to like physically welcome them, take them out for coffee and get to know them properly. I miss that physical interaction. I know, with future of work, we're never going to go back to how it was pre-pandemic. I don't think we will have a life of, 5 days a week, come to office. I think that's not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen in Shell. But I will at least still get a chance to meet with them, speak to them, get to know their family members, invite them over, to my house for dinner. Those are the kind of things that I've not been able to do. And of course, hang out with people like my buddies like Farid, right? I think that's and start playing rugby again. Like I said, I'm a team sport guy, and when there is a lockdown and team sports are not allowed, I put on a lot of kilos because I don't like jogging by myself. So I can't wait to get back to the pitch again.
so you guys
actually
have
wanted
been
to-
working at home the whole time now?
I have. I think Farid pergi office.
On and
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wafi, you were saying.
Yeah, I wanted to just just go back to that whole conversation about the team sports thing, right? I just wanted to get your guys' opinion about what I'm about to say. I previously used to play a lot of team sports, but I find that unless the people that I'm playing with are on the same mindset or on the same level, have the same goals as I do, they're gonna slow me down. And because obviously not just me but a lot of other people, they'd like to achieve higher levels in whatever game that we're playing. But if we don't have the same mindset, if we don't have the same goals, they're just bound to slow me down. Have you guys experienced anything like that before?
Are you talking about rowing?
Rowing, football, yeah, rowing and football mainly. Yeah.
You're talking to me. I'm probably the cause of the team slowing down because of me more than anything else. No, but it's a reflection of life, right? It's a reflection of work because you never get a chance to choose your teammate. You never get a chance to choose your boss. You are in that team, and then you try to make that team work. And even if you say, if it doesn't work, I'm going to move to another organization. You don't get a chance to choose your colleagues there as well, your teammates. People who are already there. In fact, a lot of times you have to fit in and make sure that we all race together. So, I understand, right? I understand. But a lot of times you would see the superstars that don't do well in the team are the one that is left out. All right. It's because they feel that I'm much better than the team. And whenever you feel you're much better than the team, you're much better than the entire organization that you work, then trouble, bro, right? Because you've got ego in your head in the sense that it's not true, right? So I give you another sport example, right? If today, so I'm not an MU fan, so I'm going to use this example because I'm not a fan. You guys got Cristiano Ronaldo, the second best player in the world ever, so no, that's great. But if ever CR7 feel that he is bigger than Manchester United, then that's the problem. But he doesn't feel that way. Right, so you cannot think that he's bigger than the team because then, you can be the talisman of the team, you can be the captain of the team, the star, but you cannot be bigger than the team.
Ferry, do you want to add anything to that?
And sorry, just one more thing. Sorry, just one more thing. Let's take Roger Federer. Right, we always think it's an individual sport. He has a team behind him.
Definitely.
Coaches, blah 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 blah, all that, right? And if any of them don't do the role that they're supposed to do, that Roger Federer or the Lee Chong Wei or the individual team players, they're not going to do well, right? I think there's an article that Tiger Woods said that people tend to forget how much he relies on his caddy. So it's still every single sport on the offset might be individual, but there's a team that supports you.
Right. Yeah. Yes, Ferry, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, one thing that I would like to use the analogy of sport is to keep the score.
Keep the score.
Yeah.
Keep the score.
Yeah. Now, it seems like this is a tip that I just learned recently, but really helps. Yeah. How many of us, before we go to bed, you list down what are the things that you have achieved today? I tell you what the beauty of that. Yeah? So recently, MBSB Bank, we launched a digital platform called M-Delhi. M-Delhi started as a tool for employee that work from home to check in and check out. Yeah. But then we realized since we asked them to check in, check out, can we ask them how they feel today? Yeah, about their feelings. Are they productive or not? Yeah, it's very simple digital tool, and we also ask them to list their achievements. Before I go to bed, I do my M daily, and I complete that. Then I realize that when I list all my achievement for the day, there's a sense of fulfillment.
Yes.
Because in reality, how may all of us need recognition, right? And who is the best person to recognize? It's yourself. So when you take this, that's why I say the analogy of keep the score. Yeah. So you have done this. And it is the power of writing, it's power of listing it. Then you're like, oh, there's so many things that I've done. Well done, Farid. And then when you go to bed with positive vibe, imagine when you wake up, you also that you bring along that it resonates with your emotion, right? You wake up very happy. Oh, yes, daddy. So I want to do it again today. So as simple as that, just list down what you have done today. So like this particular session, this is one of my achievements to see you, Nabil and Wafi, and of course we connect with me as usual.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure that okay, GRADUAN podcast.
But I totally get it. I totally get it. When you complete even when you have a list, when you strike out something from that to-do list,
Yeah.
right, you feel a bit of
Satisfying. Very satisfying.
So
and then it continues on the next day and the next day.
Since we are on the subject of the list, I like to introduce you the close list.
The what? Sorry.
Close list. Usually we have wish list, right?
Yes.
The problem with wish list is unlimited, and when it's unlimited, you get stressful. Compared to close list, when you wake up in the morning, you list down what you want to do.
Yeah.
You're going to focus on that. So it is called close list. There's a book on this called Do It Tomorrow.
Do it tomorrow.
Yeah, you can Google it. So I like that. Yeah, these are the little things that can make a big difference. Yeah. And I wish I learned about this much earlier. but I think that's why we had this particular session, isn't it?
Yeah. People listening, they won't get to say, I wish I knew this much sooner. Right, okay. I actually have a question. Obviously, since you guys are both avid rugby fans and you guys aren't playing now, how do you guys spend your free time? I mean, obviously, Shazmi spends a lot of his time with his kids, but apart from that, you don't like jogging. You mentioned that. Is there anything that you guys do that you guys take part in? Yep. Open floor. Farid, maybe you want to go first, Shazmi? You've already unmuted. Might as well.
All right, I will go with beauty first, so you go ahead first.
As you know, one thing that I realized, I don't spend much time with my wife. I must admit that, even though I mentioned that one of my priorities, family, that's something that as much as possible, even to have a quick breakfast. Yeah. Get in the car, go for a quick breakfast, and then go back. Yeah. The word that she always use, tak boleh duduk diam. Yeah. How many days actually, for goodness sake, I can do it. So that's something that I would like to, if you ask me what I will do in my free time, to have breakfast and lunch, just chill with my wife. Yeah.
And I have heard Farid's wife say, Farid tak boleh duduk diam. So I can attest that is correct. For me, so I haven't picked up a new hobby or anything. That's for sure. I think I have spent more time with the kids, spend more time with the family, and I think so. Farid and I, we are part of a close knit group of friends, and we have not met since April, but we have spoken a number of times. We are always constantly in touch with each other. I think when we speak about how the pandemic is constantly causing a lot of people having mental stress, we've made sure that at least among ourselves, we reach out to each other as many times as possible to make sure that everyone is all right. And yeah, so we do funny things together. We do activities, but yeah, that really keeps us sane for sure.
Nice.
Right. So we actually do have one question from the floor. It's they're asking about from our conversation today, we've kind of realized that you guys do integrate work into your life instead of a life into work. Is that a process that you enjoy? How some people, when they do work at 6 o'clock or at 7 o'clock, that's the lights off, computers down. But since you guys do have work pretty much around the clock whenever you guys are free and there is work to be done, is that something that you enjoy?
I think I enjoy the work that I do, whether I work 3 hours a day or on certain.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that there are no days when I have to work long hours. They do, they are, and that's fine because maybe it's seasonal. It peaks a bit,
Yeah.
but if every day is midnight, then mati
Uh-huh.
lah, right? I
Right.
think you got to enjoy the work that you do, and you got to know why you're doing that job. So for me,
Mhm.
I think my Farid and I will know. I was working in Pfizer, and I enjoyed my time in Pfizer. I was in KL, and I was traveling all over. Then I worked out of Singapore. But my wife and kids, because of my wife's commitment, couldn't move to Singapore. So I used to do the Friday flight in, Sunday flight out. And after a while, I really, really felt more than anything else, I was missing on the kids growing up.
Mhm.
And when Shell, the opportunity presented in Shell, I grabbed with both hands because one, it's Shell, and secondly, I know that I'll be able to spend time with the family. So for as long as you know why you are in that organization,
Right.
the work will be fun. And I think if Farid and I probably are in the same boat. We've said no to great job opportunities as well because somehow or other it doesn't jive with our personality or what we want at that point of time. So yeah. So you got to make sure why you're in that organization. Are you
Right.
there to contribute, change something, drive something? And if it is, so even when you have tough days, you just reflect on the objective of why you are there.
What is something about your job that you really enjoy?
I wish there is one thing. I suppose, in a nutshell, making a difference in the life of not only 4,500 employees, but also their families as well. Yeah, I think that's really important. And there's a question that I constantly ask whenever we want to roll out a new policy: does that help the staff? Does that make sense? If we have in Shell we have this ethical decision framework whenever we want to roll out something, right? Is it legal? Okay, legal. Is it ethical to do? Okay, ethical. Then is it wise? Because some things are legal and ethical, but it's
Yeah.
not the smartest thing to do. 10 years down the road, if you look back at the decision, will you question like, what were they thinking? Why did they pass something like that? Why did they? So we always are guided by that. I think making a difference is a huge bit. And I think Farid and I are extremely active beyond work,
Mhm.
GRADUAN platform, a number of other platforms, because we want to try to, as much as possible, make a bit of a difference in someone's life. Farid, over to you, please. I don't want to speak on behalf of you.
Yeah, I wish is true. Yeah. Now, in the subject of whether we enjoy or not, like it or not, for example, sometimes we know it's difficult. For example, like going to the gym. Yeah. Do you think that people enjoy? At least for me, you enjoy going to the gym. you're not enjoying it. But after that, the feeling, you realize. But, just like work as well, yeah. It's it's naive to say that, oh, I enjoy, when my boss scream at me or there's certain deadline that you need to deliver, right? But after that, you realize this, oh yeah, I enjoy this. Yeah? Now the technique that I can share is taking the first step, just like going to the gym. Let's use the analogy of going to the gym. As much as I drag my feet to the gym, but by changing my shoes, okay, let's start with the first one. I change my shoes, and then you take the second step. Okay, then I wear the shirts, and then just like when I walk every day, and when I take the staircase, or just one floor first. So start small steps, and then you realize you accumulate that. Now you have, let's take, let's say, 5 floors. What if I more than 5 floors? So it's all about taking the first step.
First step.
And then, so don't worry about, I'm going to be here for 8 hours.
Well,
yeah.
So, Mr. Farid, you've worked in many different countries in your working career. How would you say the difference between working in Malaysia as compared to other countries?
Oh yeah, now I remember when this is quite funny. When I was in Switzerland, the Asian wing, because I work for Asia, Oceania, and Africa. So our wing is the one that facing Lake Leman.
Yeah.
Like it's a wing. And I realized our wing, always, maybe this Asian thing, the other wing, Europe or North America, by far they'll be empty. But our wing will be several people like me. But at the time, I doing 2 jobs in Malaysia as well as in Switzerland. Yeah. So then I realized, the way that people is different, and how they see things. Even in South Africa, for example, people always ask me, Farid, South Africa, Philippines, Switzerland, which one that you like most? I must say that, well, equally South Africa and the Philippines. Not pretty much Switzerland. So something that I realized that I decided not to bring my family. Even though at the time there's an opportunity, but I said, I don't think that I want to be living in this country. Because I give example, maybe I exaggerate. There are certain things that you have your certain values. But one thing that very important I learned in South Africa, in South Africa, people always say that Malaysia kita ni kan macam kita sopan santun, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I realized kita kat Malaysia tak suka greet tau. Do you notice that? So in South Africa, you jumpa stranger, you running, walking, kan? You jumpa Assalamualaikum. There's Muslim in South Africa, or Mora, or Punjani. You just greet the strangers and they respond. So after a few months, the first summer break, because I used to that, so I returned back to Malaysia. So I get into the lift and say Assalamualaikum, and people look at me, do I know you? Kind of thing. So it's pretty. Do you realize that Malaysian, we don't like to greet? We even you only greet people that you know. You don't greet.
Yeah.
I mean, I was studying in Melbourne. Everyone greets each other, but when I came back to Malaysia, we don't get that as well. But the same question that I asked you, which country you like more, I want to ask to Jasmine, Singapore or KL better?
Oh my God, no comparison, man. KL, of course.
Oh, okay. Really?
That was quick. But why though? Why?
Look, all jokes aside, Singapore is a fantastic place. Everything runs on time and everything is systematic. But I don't think people, maybe I'm biased, Malaysia is home. and there is no place like home. Right? The worst thing that can happen here is still probably the best compared to a lot of other places. There's no such. I've been blessed that I could travel a lot of places. Any day you ask me where I can live, I want to live back here.
Wow.
That's why I came back, right?
Nice.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of coming to the end of the session, so we have one question here. I mean, it can be seen as philosophical. What does success mean to you guys? Can you give me a second to think about that first? And maybe Nabil can answer this question as well.
What a success. Oh, me also.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel that success is happiness, where you're contented with where you are in life. I may not have the biggest car, or I may not have, my company may not be some MNC, but I'm just happy where I am happy. My family is around. It's just the simple things in life that I have, and I appreciate the simple things in life, and I don't take it for granted. So that's just me.
So I won't be hypocritical, right? So I will tell you how I feel. When the younger Shazmi felt that success was materialistic things, right? Good money, good car, a nice place to stay. I think my perspective changed maybe 5-6 years ago. I think now for me, success is raising my children well. And I feel that is going to be the hardest job, an even harder job
Right.
than contributing to an organization. Like I will feel like an absolute failure if you could have millions of dollars, but if your kids are not well mannered, they're rude, they're obnoxious, they don't treat people well, that would be a colossal failure for me. So yeah, raising them well, that would be success.
So Farid,
I'm sure there will be. Yeah, Farid?
they have a good father, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is very philosophical. Maybe for me, it is the ability, yeah, to live our life the way that you wanted to live it. Yeah. So for me, that's success. Doing what we most enjoy, surrounded by people that we love and admire. That's for me success. Yeah, I agree with Sazmi. There's always a stage where you define success by material possessions. Yeah, it's kind of wrong. Even then, somebody told me, Farid, actually, for example, a simple rule in getting a car. The price of your car, the value of your car, should not be exceeding 6 months of your salary, which is a good rule. Because, and then it's just like point A to point B. Yeah. So of course, for example, now I never get a new car. I always look for pre-owned. All my car are pre-owned now. Yeah, pre-owned. And my youngest car, I think it is in Asia. That's my daughter's car. Anyway, the point that I want to make is, of course, we learn through the process. Yeah, because I have reached a stage where it's all about giving. Because there are other people that also need your help. So for me, success is the ability for us to live our life that we want, and surrounded by the people that we love, like all of you. Yeah, Sazmi, Nabil, Wafi. That's why we are here. A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yes, nice.
Yeah. Just another question there. Obviously, both you guys had shifts in your definition of success per se, and I assume it does come with age. Obviously, I'm still at that level where success to me, it's still to a certain level. I try to not make it materialistic, but can't help it sometimes. At what point do you think that view changes?
There are some people who keep that view till the day they die. So it doesn't mean, and I think that's what I should have said earlier on. my view, in this case, Farid's view, doesn't mean that is the correct view that everyone
Yeah.
should follow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's our
Right, right.
own personal view. I think today's whole session is based on our own personal preferences, and doesn't mean if you're doing something different, it's wrong. It's just that's your preference, that's your choice, and you're entitled to do that, right? So mine, I don't. There was no like a specific moment where it changed, but I think after a while, the realization happens that I still like, I like watches and I like, like nice sneakers. Yeah, you buy, that point of purchasing is fun. The euphoria is like high. Right after you purchase, the day after that, right? It just
I
sits
totally get it.
right? And especially the pandemic, I think I taught you like, what are you going to do with all these things? You can't even go out. You're stuck at home the whole time. So yeah, I don't know whether the pandemic contributed to that. I really don't know the exact moment, but it just changed. And but more importantly is, and I was guilty of that when I was younger, when I was in uni, where they call some corporate person, and I'm like, ooh, mesmerized, and now I'm going to be that person. You're
Yeah.
never going to be that person because that person is different. Be your own person. So, my views and Farid views are our own views. If there's good things that you can take from it, all well and good. But be your own person.
Nice.
All right. Annabelle, do you want to add anything there?
Not really. I just want to thank both Shasmi and Farid for taking the time of their schedule to join for our podcast today. I think it's one of the more enjoyable podcasts I've had. Or it's only been 4, but it's one of the better ones so far. So again, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot for the listeners to learn from today's lessons. So
Right, yep.
Thank you both of you again. I hope to see you soon in real life,
Definitely.
and maybe have a cup of coffee when I meet both of you.